Hello everyone, this is Hakaym and welcome back to another episode of Funday Sunday, and I have a fun battle for you guys today. I am in the tier 8 split branch Japanese destroyer, the Akazuki, and here soon she's actually going to be getting her upgrades, her next two tiers, tier 9 and tier 10, which are essentially the same kind of design and setup, but just bigger with more guns. Anyways, we are playing on Mountain Range, playing Domination. We have a Republic, North Carolina, Bismarck, 3 Des Moines, Hindenburg, Kutuzov, Yang, Fletcher, and 2 Akazukis on the enemy team. There's a Yamato, North Carolina, Richelieu, 3 Des Moines, Hindenburg, Cleveland, Gearing, Yugamo, and 2 Akazukis. And I am joined with Lord E in the North Carolina and Tai Chunger in the Kutuzov. And as you can see, there are quite a few radars, and that's kind of how it's been lately with the addition of the split branch USN cruisers, is the fact that there's a lot of radar in this game. Granted, these are obviously Des Moines, and Des Moines have been around since beta, or since the very beginning of the game. But it's still not particularly fun when you're a lonely little destroyer. Now, Akatsuki, well, she's a unique ship. I would say she can be very powerful against enemy destroyers, and my captain, I believe, is actually a 17-point captain and it does have IFHE, it has basic firing training, advanced firing training, and it has adrenaline rush, so it's very, very potent against enemy destroyers. And that's something you can't always expect this Akazuki to do, because without IFHE, she really has issues dealing really any amount of damage against enemy destroyers, especially higher tiers. Now we are currently capping B, and we are being cautious, and one negative downside is the fact that the Akazuki is a slow destroyer. So if a ship can get in range of its radar, you are going to struggle to get out of its detect. So major problem there. Now, as you can see, there is a Cleveland starting to push in, and oh, lo and behold, there's the Akazuki finally spotted. And we are just going to go ahead and open up. Now, we did drop torpedoes, and just watch how quickly these guns can just melt an Akazuki. But we are going to pop our smoke. It is going to be frivolous to try to actually compete, because we did have about 4 ships opening up against us. But keep in mind those torps. Oh, yeah, there we go. First blood. Akazuki goes down. And unfortunately, we're still detected because we did slip out of our smoke screen. But as you can see, we have just now went invisible. And the other enemy Akazuki is now pushing out. He did open up, so obviously he is spotted. But we did manage to capture B. And let's see how these torps go. Kind of guessed. Kind of roughly an idea as far as where he might be possibly going. But he is now invisible. And our team is at least ahead in ships and caps. We've actually managed to capture all 3 caps. And let's see, let's go ahead and pull away. One thing, as I did mention, the Akazuki is a very, very slow destroyer, and it's going to be the same with the tier 9 and tier 10. But you can see the enemy team is currently capturing B. It is the Akazuki. The Akazuki decided to sell in a nice straight line, which is not always something you want to do when dealing with other enemy destroyers, because that can happen. 2 torpedo hits, Akazuki goes down, and that is kill number 2 for us. Now, I was pretty much warned about the cap being capped, but yeah, so managed to essentially wipe out both of the destroyers near full health. So that's a decent chunk of damage right there. Now our team, once again, is doing a decent job. I mean, we are holding C. All that's left on the western side is the enemy Gearing, I believe, or possibly is the Fletcher. Gearing is now starting to push in, and I am trying to be careful because there is a Cleveland, Hindenburg, and I believe a Des Moines out east, though the Des Moines is currently hiding on the very northern side, not being particularly helpful for his team at all. But there is also the enemy Yamato starting to push down as well, and we gotta wait till at least our smoke screen. I am being cautious, I will fully admit. This is just something you kind of have to do. You don't always have to be overly aggressive, because as you can see, our team's actually doing really well as far as ships and as far as caps. So it's be frivolous to essentially get ourselves killed. And there's the Des Moines finally popping up. Actually, I believe the Des Moines was, at least one Des Moines was all the way on the very northern side, finally was spotted. But this Yamato is going to go down relatively quickly. I don't think we are going to get a torpid. I think he just barely misses ours. But we should help take this Yamato down right there. There we go. Kill number 3. Granted, didn't do that big of a damage against him, but at least we helped take down the tier 10 battleship, which is always very, very beneficial. Now, as you can see, the enemy team is doing a really good job. They've actually pushed into B and have fully capped it, and they've also pushed into A. I believe it's actually the Yugamo over there at A, but unfortunately for us, we do have a Des Moines that is currently popping radar and is spotting the Fletcher as well as myself, and it'd be very foolish to try to go around that corner. I will try to assist as much as possible. If we can at least help take out this Des Moines, that would be very beneficial, but we have just lost our Fletcher to the Yugamo, and we have obviously attracted the attention of the enemy Gearing's torpedoes as well as the Cleveland. And the Cleveland, I would say it's actually a really good anti-destroyer cruiser. Even more so than most of the other cruisers, just due to the fact of the high rate of fire and the very good HE damage it can actually dish out. But unfortunately for us, our smoke screen is actually starting to dissipate as we're trying to reverse. We're still reversing, still trying to pull back a little bit. Yu Yang actually pushed in, is actually dealing a decent amount of damage, but this Gearing is trying to pull away as quickly as possible. But once again, Akizuki is a unique ship. So at close range, her velocity on her shells are very quick. They arrive to target with little amount of needing a more decent lead just to ensure shells land target. However, at long range, as you can see, the shell arcs actually increase. They increase quite dramatically. The fact that you do have to provide quite a bit of lead just to ensure your targets or your shells land on target. And that can be a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing is you can fire over islands. However, bad thing is, well, it just takes a little bit more time and takes a little bit more practice to ensure that your shells, in fact, land where you want them to. Now we do see an enemy Yugamo, and as I did mention, Akizuki is really good at destroying and dealing with enemy destroyers. Just watch how quickly this Yugamo melts under the firepower of a Akizuki with IFHE. And the reload rate on the Akizuki is pretty insane. It's one of the higher reload rates you're going to find in the game. Yugamo is going down. Get some assistance from Lord E, but this Yugamo is gonna go down one way or another. However, we are attracting attention, and we do pop our last smoke screen. Yugamo does pop smoke and disappear, but it is not enough to ensure that he does not go down, and that is kill number 4, which is very, very nice. And we are starting to capture B once again. And now Gearing is dealing with both a Yu Yang and Akizuki. And once again, the Akizuki is such a good gunboat. It really, really is. The major downfall is just its speed is so slow. And there we go, Kraken Unleashed. Kill number 5. And we gotta be careful. That is also a Hindenburg with good HE. And it's probably going to be a good idea to, in fact, disappear, because unfortunately for us, our Yu Yang has just gone down. And gonna try to pull away as quickly as possible. We did use torpedo booster or reloader or torpedo booster, to reload our single torpedo tube, and of course the Cleveland gets a fire on us, double fires at the moment, so we are going to be dealing damage for quite a bit, but it does look like we managed to at least disappear from line of sight, which should help us, but unfortunately we are going to be dealing with this fire for about 10 more seconds, which is going to chew away what little amount of health that we do have left. And that's probably something you have to keep in mind is, once again, the Akatsuki, it's a slower destroyer. It can't really quickly and nimbly disappear. However, another thing is the fact that she only has one torpedo tube. Now, the torpedo reload does help you, but you can only use it every 2 minutes. So it's not always the greatest thing, but it can be a nasty surprise, especially if the enemy battleship or cruiser doesn't expect a second round of torpedoes incoming. So at the moment, our team is still ahead. We're still ahead in points. We are currently taking back both A and B. The enemy team is trying to take back C. This Des Moines is trying to take C, but he has been sitting a little bit further back, but we should be able to focus down this Des Moines as long as we're careful. And obviously that is the last Des Moines on the enemy team, and I don't really want to be getting too close, just due to the fact that he does potentially have radar, and I am extremely low in health, and the Akatsuki is not a particularly fast ship, so I don't really want to get too close. Now, honestly, the Hindenburg should have taken out this low health Des Moines with relative ease, and there he goes. Finally takes out the enemy Des Moines. All that is left on the enemy team is the Cleveland and the Hindenburg, and of course I get a little ballsy and open up to try to help out as much as possible. But here's what's interesting is, take a look at the chat here in the moment, and you can see what type of team member this is. But yeah, just kind of keep an eye on chat, because all that the enemy team really can do at the moment is honestly not that much. The Hindenburg is kind of low on health, is probably going to go down one way or another, especially to the combined fire. We're trying to help out, and it looks like the Hindenburg takes out the enemy Cleveland with secondaries, while the Cleveland takes out the enemy friendly Hindenburg with a fire. And all that's left is this enemy Hindenburg. And I will have to say, this game was actually a really good game. It is actually a really good game. I'll show you the end stats here in a moment. But at the exact same time, the enemy Des Moines was not a, well, we'll just say he was a very salty player. There was a lot of salt running through his veins. That's for sure quite relevant in his chat. So yeah, I will have to say it's something a lot of people have to work on. I try my very best as far as not being salty. It happens. I mean, everyone gets salty, but it's just something everyone has to work on. Now, fortunately, as from what I've heard, World of Warship is not as toxic as World of Tanks or obviously any other games. There's a very unique game with a very toxic community, especially for anyone that is particularly new or makes a simple mistake. Fortunately, I think World of Warships is fairly low on the toxicity. I mean, there are still players, as you obviously probably have seen throughout your battles, but for the most part, I would like to say World of Warships is not that bad, which I'm kind of proud of. It's actually very good to know that this gaming community is not too terribly toxic at times. So very proud of everyone trying their very best, and that's usually what I usually recommend is be supportive. Not everyone knows you or knows how to play this game. So try to help out your teammates as much as possible. Maybe they're not aware. Everyone has a different amount of learning experience from this game. So at the moment, we are trying to help out. We also, I will have to mention, we actually have a near full health Republic. While unfortunately Lord E is going to go down, Ty is helping out as well. Unfortunately, we have just lost Lord E in the North Carolina, which has given our opportunity to possibly take out this Hindenburg, and that's what we're gonna try to do. But once again, obviously, I'm not gonna open up right now. That is about 16,000 points of health. Well, now around 7,000 points of health, and I don't think the Akazuki is gonna be able to take this Hindenburg out with relative ease within the amount of salvos required. So okay, that's a good time, and that's essentially going to be battle right there. Kill number 6. So our team did earn a victory. We brought home 529,760 silver, 9,833 XP. We earned First Blood, Kraken Unleash, and Devastating Strike. Now our damage was not particularly high. We only did 67,188. However, most of that damage was due to the fact of taking out enemy destroyers, which I would say enemy destroyers are a fairly high priority in this game because they provide spotting, they provide torpedoes, they provide capping. So it's very important on taking out enemy destroyers. Now keep that in mind as we'll go to the next screen, and you'll kind of understand why I say this game was a fairly good game. So we did 161 shell hits, 3 torpedo hits, 6 kills. Granted, the Yamato and the Hindenburg were kind of stolen. 2 fires, 2 floods, 2 defended base captures, and 2 capture bases. So that's a lot of XP right there. And can you guess what the base XP for this battle was? And it's not a number you see very often, especially it's been a long time since I've seen this high of a number, especially in any battles I've played. We earned a base XP of 3,151. 3,151. That's pretty darn good. Comparatively, the next ship down was 1,999. Almost broke that 2,000 mark. So very high as far as XP, and that's just due to the fact of capturing bases, defending base points, as well as taking essentially percentage-wise full health destroyers down to 0, which grants you a lot of XP and a lot of money. So very good as far as base XP. As far as damage, as I did point out, the Akazukis we essentially took out from full health, as well as the Yugamo we did a substantial amount of damage. The gearing, not as much as the other 3, but you can kind of see the damage was kind of spread out. I will admit the Hindenburg and the Yamato were kind of stolen kills. I agree there. That's totally fine, but at least I helped out. Main batteries only did around 36,000, 1 point of damage. High explosive did around 35, as armor piercing only did around 1,325. I did switch to armor piercing for that last salvo and aimed at the superstructure. That is probably a very good idea when dealing, especially if you don't have IFHE. That's going to be the only place you're really going to be able to deal damage is the superstructure with armor piercing. Torpedoes did around 30,000 points of damage. And flightings, well, we didn't really get much, only around 1,196, and that is in fact going to be it for this replay and it for Funday Sunday. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. If you like what you saw, hit the like and subscribe button. You guys have a great and fantastic day. Zaijian.